Well, students, today we will discuss the another topic, paper paper 12 of semester 3, gender education and development. Right, guys? This is the paper. Today we will discuss gender educations and development. So under the gender education and development, I'm going to start my lecture from the topic evaluation of programs for girls education. Right? It is impossible to think about the welfare of the world unless the condition of women improved. It is impossible for a bird to fly on only one wing, said by the Swami Vivekananda. Right, guys? So Swami Vivekananda wants to say that if you want the welfare of the state, if you want that your country should be developed, then there is an equal role of the women. Right? So first we talk about what is the girl education in India. Actually, girl education in India is very, it is quite troubling to see the figures in a country where the women are given the status of goddess. Right? Here in our country, women were not allowed to even step out of their houses in ancient India. In fact, things are improving, but yet there is a lot of work we have to do that. Okay. So here in this topic, we just understand what are the factors contributing to low rate of girl education. Right? Why? What are the factors? What is the reason? Because girls are not giving motivations to learn. Okay, so there are various factors that are involved in this process. First, the poverty rate is alarming. Right? There is a lot of poverty. Due to the poverty, even though education is being made free, it still involves a substantial cost to send girls to school. Therefore, many families are struggling to meeting their daily life problems. So that's why they don't allow the girls to send the schools. Secondly, in rural areas, there are many schools. There are not many schools, in fact. Okay, there are very less schools. And furthermore, the regressive thinking of the people make it tougher for girls to get an education. Anna, you know that some people they have in the mind, okay, son, if even if the daughter has, if there is a son or daughter, okay, in the family, so they always motivate the son should go to get the education, not the girls. Okay, because girls are meant, what they think that girls are meant to stay in their house and look after the kitchen. They do not like women, do not other tasks expect for household ones. Okay, so there are many social issues like child marriage, child labor also stop the girl from getting an education. Right? Even again, we discuss under this heading about girls education in India. Okay, what are the various factors that becomes problem for the girls not to get the education? For example, the caste system, that dating, it is dating back to 1200 BCE. Right? Gender inequality, there is a lot of a gender inequality. Inequality means men and women are not giving the same right, equal right in India. In fact, we have got 60-70 years of independence. Another reason is schools are very less, we have already discussed inaccessible of the school, and girls are not encouraged. Okay, the another reasons of even the Right to Education Act in India seems to have improved the country's ranking when looking at growth rate, literacy rate. But instead of that, okay, girls are not giving, encouraging to go to the school and get the education. So these are some of the points. Okay, even if you look at this point, in Bihar, where the literacy rate for girls is 20 points lower than of their male counterpart. The track of the school for someone in Rampur, I've given the example. Okay, in even the many underdeveloped states, there are a lot of problems for the girls to get the education. So these are some of the points. So what the Gauri Abhinandan says that if India aims to grow from a medium developed country to one of the higher rank, considering its recent advances in education, it is possible for India to attain this goal. However, this can only be done by realizing there is a still more work to be done in closing the gap between boys and girls, as these above factors shows that. Okay. Next, guys, we discuss about what is the benefits of girls' education. What would be the benefits of the girls' education, right? So, if we want to see that India progress and develop, we need to educate our girl child. Okay, because you have seen that many countries, if they have developed, so there is a lot of contributions of the women in the economic growth also, in the economic development also, right? So one of the most important benefit of girl education is that country's future will be brighter and better. Okay, if we give focus on the girls' educations also. Okay, because in India's like underdeveloped country, okay, we are not giving so much, we are not giving the equal chance to the girls to get the education and others, as we have discussed the above factors. Okay, so furthermore, how the girl educations can be benefited in the country, women who are educated can take proper care of their children also. This will strengthen the future, as lesser kids will die due to the lack of vaccinations or a similar reasons. Even for women, they will be less likely to become a patient of this. Means, if they will get education, they will aware of that. Many problems, due to the many problems, okay, kids and they die. Most importantly, educated women can result in decrease in social issues like corruption, child marriage, domestic abuse, and more. If the girls would be educated, she would come to know that their rights, their what is their rights. Okay, so there would be a fall in such social issues like child marriage, domestic abuse, and more. Thus, we see that one educated woman can bring so much change in her life along with the others as well, right? So next we discuss about what are the programs, various programs for the girls' educations. Okay, introduced by the country, introduced by the state, introduced by the nation, center as a state. So we discuss under this heading what are the various programs uh, started by the state and central government for upliftment of the education for the girls. Okay, first we discuss Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. So this scheme is, revealed by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in the Haryana, in the district of Panipat, Haryana, on January 22, 2015, right? The primary aim of this program is to protect girls from social problems such as gender-based abortion and to promote girl child education throughout the world. Because in a Haryana, if you are aware that, because some days before, we have come to know that Haryana, regarding this gender-based abortion and others, there is a lot of cases we saw in Haryana state. So Honorable Prime Minister in 2015 in Panipat, he announced this scheme, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme. So we discuss what is the benefit of girls under this scheme. The Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme, a holistic initiative in India that aims to solve the country's worsening child sex ratio and related issue of women empowerment. On March 8, 2018, the Prime Minister of India initiated All India expansion of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme in Junujun. This is the name of a district in Rajasthan. After observing an improving trend in sex ratio at birth in 161 implementing districts. Guys, in 2015, Prime Minister Modi, he announced the scheme Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme in Panipat, again in year of 2018. So this scheme is expanded up to 161 districts. Okay. So just actually what directly we go for the, what are the benefit of the girl child under this welfare program. So what this program says that what is the purpose of, what is the benefit of this Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme? Number one, preventing selective gender-based abortion, right? So ensuring girl child safety and welfare in infancy, right? These are some of the objectives of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme that was introduced by Prime Minister. Another, ensuring girl child education and inclusion. Again, changing gender stereotype and promoting gender equity. Providing a safe and stable atmosphere for girls, supporting girls' right to inherit property, right? So these are the objectives of this scheme, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. And now further we just come to know that who are the persons who are eligible for these schemes. So who can get the benefit of this scheme? A household of the girl under the age of 10. Okay, she can get the benefit of that scheme. A Sukanya Samriddhi account, SSA, should be opened in the name of a girl child in any bank. Second one. And third, the girl child should be born in India. This system is not open to non-resident Indians. Okay. So to get the above scheme, the benefit of the above scheme, right, for the girls education program. So these are the eligibility criteria which the every girl has to meet to get the benefit of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme. Okay, next we discuss the another welfare program, welfare scheme for the girls education for the benefit of the girl. It is called CBSE Udan scheme. Okay guys, what is CBSE Udan scheme? The Central Board of Secondary Education, in collaboration with Ministry of HRD of Government, manages and administer the CBSE Udan schemes for girls. Okay, this program is one of the most important government girl child scheme in India that aims to increase the number of girls enrolled in prestigious engineering and technical colleges across India. Cleared? You have come to know. Okay. Next, we go for eligibility. What is the eligibility to get the benefit of above scheme, Udan scheme by the CBSE and in collaborations with MHRD? Applicant with a secured average of a 70% in class 10 can opt for scheme. They must have a scored minimum 80% in science and mathematics. The opting student must have a minimum of 8 or 9 GPA in maths and science. Okay. If any of the girls takes meets this eligibility criteria, so then she can get the benefit of that scheme, CBSE Udan scheme. Okay, what are the primary features of CBSE Udan scheme? Just see that free course material and online resources for girls in +1 and +2 grades, such as video instruction, weekend virtual courses for girls in the 11th 12th grades, peer education and career opportunities for deserving female students, study assistance and clarification facilities via toll-free number, consistent monitoring and tracking students' progress. So these all the benefits girls can take, okay, under the CBSE Udan scheme. You should know that. Next, Balika Saridhi Yojana. The Balika Saridhi Yojana, this is a scholarship. This is a scholarship initiative that provides financial support to the young girls and their families who live in poverty. Right, guys? Up here, what is the benefit of that scheme? Those families who live in the poverty, under this schemes, they get the benefit of in cash. This is a scholarship scheme, right? Up to 300 to 2000. So what is the benefit of that scheme? Eligibility: the girl child needs belong to a family of BPL, right? The girl children need to be born or after the 15th August 1997. Okay, such kind of a girl can take the benefit of this Balika Saridhi Yojana. This is basically a scholarship scheme. Okay, right. Next is a Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. This is basically a small deposit scheme for girl child. Okay, dowry, and that dowry and other marriages cost are two of the most common causes of sexism against girls. Sukanya Samriddhi account, Women Child Prosperity account, is a government sponsored saving program for parents of girl children and comes under the this scheme, right? So how this program helps? So this program, so we come directly of this. The program helps parent to set aside money for their female child potential college and marriage expenses. Okay, if the families are poor, so government is giving such kind of a help to those who are poor in the form of, you know, money for the study purpose and the marriage expenses of the girl. Okay, what is the eligibility criteria? That the girl child must be below or of 10 years of age, can be newborn until the age of a 10 while opting for the scheme. Another scheme is a Ladli scheme and the Kanya Kosh scheme. This is also Haryana, which is a case study of other states too, right? So this is Ladli scheme and the Kanya Kosh scheme. So under this scheme, okay, I come directly of this. Okay, see this highlighted. A total rupees 21,000 would be deposited if the, you know, girl child is born. Okay, when the girl child is born, okay, and on that family, a total of rupees 21,000 will be deposited by the Haryana government. It is a state scheme, Ladli scheme and the Kanya Kosh scheme, right? After the girl reaches the age of 18, the balance will rise to rupees 1 lakh. Okay, this scheme was given by the Haryana. Okay, Manohar Lal Khattar government. Okay, I have mentioned in here, right? So under this, provide a financial reward of a 5,000 every year for 5 years of all parents. And you know, one more things I have mentioned here. Okay, but mainly 21,000 would be deposited if the, you know, girl child is born, right? Eligibility. What is the eligibility? The girl child must be born after 2005, right? National scheme of incentive for the girls of secondary education. Okay, now as the name suggests, it is a national scheme of incentive for the girls of secondary education, right? So here, okay, I come directly here. A deserving girl under this scheme, national scheme of incentive, she would get rupees 3,000 as a fixed deposit on her behalf under this scheme, which she will withdraw with interest after she reaches the age of 18. Okay, so it is a like a, you know, the previous one we have discussed, to like that scheme, right? This is the eligibility criteria. The girl child must be unmarried, below the age of 16. The candidate should have passed 8th grade and enrolled in 9th, must be enrolled in a government aided school. Okay, only then the girl child can take the benefit of this scheme. Another is a Ladli Lakshmi Yojana of Madhya Pradesh. So it was by the Madhya Pradesh state government. Okay, so under this scheme, and you can see that, you know, some amount is given to the in the account of the girl, right? 6,000 and, you know, 4,000 again up to the, because you know, under this scheme the government is giving, okay, when any of the girl reach on the, you know, reach on the age of 5 years, then 6,000, then the beneficiary will receive rupees 2,000 at the admission of a 6th grade. Okay, when the girl child goes in the 6th grade, so she will get the, you know, amount of a 2,000 and rupees 4,000 at the time of admissions of a 9th grade. So means every state government having their own way to, you know, start the scheme and to give the you know, this kind of a welfare for the girl child. Okay, and these are the eligibility criteria. Okay, next we move to the Karnataka Bhagyashree scheme. So under this scheme, the Karnataka government offer financial aid to girl children in the form of a healthcare coverage up to a limit of a rupees 25,000 per year and annual scholarship of a 300 to 1,000 up to the class 10. Right? This is the eligibility. The scheme is for 2 girl children BPL. BPL means below power line. Right? Next, Mazi Kanya Bhagyashree scheme from the government of Maharashtra. So under this schemes, the mother of a girl child get 5,000 per year for the first 5 years after the child is born under the system. Okay, if the girl child is born, so she will get the reward of she will get the 5,000 rupees under this welfare scheme by the Maharashtra government, right? Okay, and you know, another one, the Chief Minister Girl Child Protection Scheme of uh, uh, Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu Chief Government Girl Child Protection Scheme aims to prevent gender inequality by empowering, securing girl child. So under this scheme, a sum of rupees 5,000 deposited her name in the form of a fixed deposit. Okay, when a new baby is born, new girl baby is born, so under this scheme, so she will get 50,000. She will get, right? Okay, so we talk about some 8 or 10 schemes, welfare schemes by the government. Okay, in our next topic, we talk about the government schemes for improvement in girls' education. Okay, what are the government schemes? Okay, but we talked about, before this, we talked about the schemes by the state government, some from Tamil Nadu, some from Haryana government, some from Punjab government and others. But here, we just want to take that, what are the government schemes? Government schemes for the girls' education. So first we talk about the school education, right? School education means up to the class of a 10 or 12. Huh? And when we talk about the higher education means BA, BSc, BCom, after the class 12. So under the school education, what is the government scheme? You should know that, being of a teacher and principals, okay? Because, you have to administer, you are administrating all the things. So you should know that, how to implement, you should be aware of that. That's why this paper has come in the MEd, because school education is Kasturba Gandhi Balika, Vidyalaya, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, we have discussed. Udan scheme, we have discussed. There is a one more scheme, Mahila Samaksha scheme. Okay, so just you can read that. Okay, Sakshar Bharat, midday meal schemes, you are aware of that, midday meal schemes. Under this schemes, okay, they get the free ration and other things in the school. Higher education scheme by the government. Higher education women through open distance learning mode. Okay, in Polytechnic, the University Grant Commissions launched a number of schemes to encourage the enrollment for promotions of girls in higher educations. Daycare centers in universities and college. Postgraduate Indira Gandhi scholarship for single girl child for pursuing. Means if there is a single girl child, okay, so then after the graduation, if she has to do the postgraduate diploma, so she can do, okay, by getting advantage of this scheme. Higher and technical education she can get. Development of women studies in universities and college. Scheme of capacity building of women managers in higher education. Postdoctoral fellowship of women. So guys, actually there is a lot of schemes which was run by the government. Okay, but we are unaware of that, right? Our former prime minister, many years back, Rajiv Gandhi, one time he has said that if I give away 1 rupees for the welfare of the person, so it will come in the hand of a person's only 15 paisa. 85% money, where it goes, we never know. So similarly, there is a lot of schemes. Okay, we should be aware of that. We can only aware by the help of the educations, so introduced by the governments. Sometimes we don't know, these schemes, we cannot get the benefit. Women education and economic development. So under this heading, we will discuss about the women educations, and then we will come to know that how the women education can boost the economic development and boost the growth of the country, right? So women education, we have already discussed much about the women educations and various schemes introduced by the government. Okay, so this is the Indian scenario of women educations. You are aware of that, huh? We have already discussed. Now we discuss here role of education in the empowerment of women in India. What is the role of education? If, according to the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, if you educate a man, you educate an individual. However, if you educate a woman, you educate a whole family, right? Gandhi ji ne bhi yahi bola tha. You know, it was said by the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. If you educate a man, if you educate a male person, you educate an only one individual. If you educate a female, you educate the whole family. So women education in India plays a very important role in the overall development of the country, right? So, you know, women empowerment through education, women empowerment is a pivotal part in any society, state, or a country. It is a woman who plays a dominant role in the basic life of a child. Women are an important sections of our society. Education as a means of a empowerment of a women can bring about a positive attitudinal change. So there are a lot of benefits for the, you know, by the help of the educations, women can empowered. Actually, the concept of a women empowerment, you should know that from where this concept women empowerment came. It was introduced in the International Women Conference held in Nairobi in 1985, right? So from in 1985, this word came, women empowerment. It was introduced because there was one conference over there, International Women Conference, right? So, you know, women empowerment means, what is basically women empowerment means? Women empowerment means acquiring knowledge and understanding of a gender relations and the ways in which these relations may be changed, developing a sense of self-worth, a belief in one's ability to secure desired changes and the right to control one's life. Anna, someone you have seen that in India, Anna, you have seen many of the women, if you know she has to take any decision, so she will ask her husband first. Why to ask from the husband? Anna, they should be able to take the decision about any of the things, right? So because of lack of the women empowerment, they are not empowered. That's why they say that they have to take first from the husband, from the brother, from the, if unmarried, from the father. So gaining the ability to generate choices, exercising bargaining power, developing the ability to organize and influence the direction of social change to create a moral, just social and economic order, national and international. So this is the meaning of a women empowerment, okay, which was, you know, in the conference in the Nairobi in 1985. So from where this word come, or under this women empowerment. So these kind of, you know, things women should have, right? Now we talk about the importance of a women participations. So it is you have already discussed, okay, what is the importance of a women participations in the, you know, economic growth also, right? Importance of women participations. So we'll talk here, what is the women's participations in our, you know, Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Okay, on independence, Article 15 of the Indian Constitution guaranteed equality of women under the law, right guys? Article 15 talks about the equality of women under the law, right? But what is happening? Just see this figure. The fact is that in the hands of a women are having lack of power at the center and the state level. It is sad state of affairs that about half of the India's population has only 10% representation in the Lok Sabha. And when you talk about the Rajya Sabha, what is the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? They are the main, you can say that the, you know, bodies, na, they make the Qanun, they make the laws and others, na, they you know, they start the education schemes, okay, from. But in the Rajya Sabha, you see that there are only 21 women out of a total of 233 MPs, which amounts to only 9%, which is even lower than that in the Lok Sabha. So how many members in the Lok Sabha? I think 545 ministers, MLAs, right? So, but you can say that only 10% are contributions of a women. So how it is possible to empower the women? So if we have to empower the women, we have to increase this right? Increase this, you know, uh, share of women in the Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha, right? So from that figure, you have come to know that means our governments, they are not serious. They are not working on it. You should know that because they are talking, they are, making such kind of a welfare schemes and others. Okay, but when we see that figure, so it is sad, right? So lack of political and economic powers add to the subservient and unequal positions of a women, right? Educational equality. So under this educational equality, women equality has shown a major improvement as a result of an adult literacy program is the area of enrollment of a boys and girls in schools. Educational, that this is a simple one. How to boost the economic growth, we have already done. Now we done the another one subheading, role of women in socio-economic growth. So Mahatma Gandhi has said that women is the companion of man, gifted with the equal mental capacity. The need of women's empowerment arises from the subordinate positions they have been accorded for a long time. Means, here Gandhiji wants to say that women should, contribute the equal part for the economic growth also. Women have always been contributed to enable the economy achieve tremendous progress. Okay, even the women in the, just see this, even women in the rural India, despite suffering from the problems like health, malnutrition, repeated childbearing, and the lack of education, engage themselves in direct and allied agriculture activities, run small shops, sell byproducts, handicraft products, and thus generate additional income for the family. The Government of India study shows that more than 40% of the rural women directly or indirectly contribute to the upliftment of their family and thereby bringing social change. Okay, you can see that. Even the, Harriet, has said that women are the real architects of the society. So we have to recognize the power of women, right? So it can only be possible with the help of education. That's why now, guys, many times I have said to that, many countries have developed, even they have got the independence around 1947 or 50 when we got independence. How they have got, how they have developed so much because of the education, because of the good teachers, right? Teachers are the nation builders, right? Because of the educations, because of the providing the equal educations to male and female, right? So this is the reason. Okay, so here are some of the main name of the women's who contributed well, right? Like Rani Chandabai, Rani Durgavati, Rani this Sarojini Naidu, Vijay Lakshmi, right? So they contributed well. Next we talk about the gender law and human rights. Gender law and human right. Okay, so first of all you should know about the gender. What is gender, right? So gender basically it is used to describe the characteristics of women and men that are socially constructed, while sex refers to those that are biologically determined. People are born female or male, but learn to be girls and boys who grow into women and men. This learned behavior makes up gender identity and determines gender rules. Right? So I explain you, in an easy manner. Gender is a social constructed word, right, guys? So when we talk about gender, it does not talk about a male or female only, right? So gender is a socially constructed word because in our world there are males, there are females, there are transgenders, there are so you cannot define gender is male only or gender is female only, right? So gender it is used to describe, it is a socially constructed word. Okay, the term gender refers to the economic, social, political, and cultural attributes and opportunity associated with being male and female. Mostly, gender word is associated with male or female. Whether he or she, he can be a male or she can be a female, male or female. But if Transgender, so that comes also under the category of a gender. When we talk about the gender equality, so that means there should be equality in male, female, and other, right? So there should be equality. So that's why gender and human rights, okay, we talk about. And gender and sex are here, you should know that gender and sex are different concepts. Gender refers to meanings, values, and characteristics that people ascribe to different sexes. Gender refers to social learned attitude and behaviors associated with being male or female. And on the other side, sex refers to the biological characteristics with which we were born that determine whether we are male or female, right? Gender analysis. What is the meaning of a gender analysis? Gender analysis means it identifies, analyzes, and informs actions to address inequalities that arise from the different roles of a women and men or unequal power relations between them. Gender analysis. Gender equality, okay, many times you have you are aware of that word, gender equality. Gender equality means women and men, girls and boys have equal conditions, treatment, and opportunities for realizing their full potential, right? Gender equality and gender laws regarding women in India. Yes, this is something important, right? So you have to learn here. There are 9 laws in India that makes women less equal than men. Okay, what are these laws? What is the Hindu laws of inheritance? So you know what this law says. So just go for that. It says that in the absence of spouse and children, the husband here inherits the women's estate, right? Parsi law, what the Parsi law says, Parsi laws of inheritance says that a non-Parsi woman who is either a wife or a widow of a Parsi man cannot inherit, right? Means if a non-Parsi girl, right, if she is a wife of a Parsi person's, so after the death, she cannot claim about the property and other things. Okay, so these are some of the laws which make women less equal than men, right? Prohibitions of Child Marriage Act. The law only prohibits the marriage of a children. It does not render them illegal once they actually happen. The married children, however, have the right of it declare it void. A woman can call off a marriage until the turns 20, whereas a man still 23. So why it is a 20 and for the boys it is 23. Age of consent. Rape of a separated wife. The rape of a separated wife carries lesser punishment than the rape of any other woman. What does it mean? Women to women hai, right? Forced sexual intercourse with the former is a punishable with 2 to 7 years of imprisonment. The prison sentence for the rape of any other woman ranges from 7 years to life. So there is a lot of you can say that biasness in these things. Marriageable age. Marriageable, that boys 21 and but 18 for a girl. Why the 18 for a girl? No, we are not providing the equal things. We are talking about the equal. We have to provide the equal opportunity, equal thing, right? Gender equality. Okay, but side by side, some of these laws that have already made that makes the women weaker. Similarly, the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act, the Goa law of polygamy, no right of a marital property. No right of a marital property. Okay, just we see that upon separations or divorce of an Indian woman is entitled only to maintenance from her husband. She has no right to the assets such as a house of a commercial property and others. Why? Why this? Only why she can claim only maintenance? Why she cannot, having the, half share? Okay. In fact, she's taking care of the children. Okay, children are from first husband also, na, in fact, right? Why they don't get the right of a marital property? So these are some of the laws that make the women weak, right? Gender equity. What is a gender equity? Gender equity means refer to the fairness and justice in the distribution of a benefit and responsibilities between women and men. One term is gender equality, and this is another term. It is called gender equity. Gender equality means either male or female, they should enjoy the benefit, the same benefit, either male or female. Okay, this is called gender equality. What is a gender equity? Gender equity means distributions of the benefit, mean fairness and justice in the distribution of benefit and responsibility between women and men, right? Gender equity, right? Sometimes this comes, what is the difference between gender equality and equity? You should know that. Okay, means I can give you one example of gender equity. Suppose our prime minister has to give the 1,000 rupees for the girls, okay, if they are needy. Okay, but that amount is going to those persons, they are not needy. So this is called gender equity. Means the amount should go to that person who is needy, basically, right? Means there should be a fairness and justice in the distribution of benefit and responsibilities. This is called gender equity, right? So here related terms are gender equity, equality. Okay, you can learn from here. Okay, the same example I have given to you: gender awareness, gender sensitivity, gender analysis, gender mainstreaming, gender parity. Now we talk about the human rights. Human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of gender. Okay, regardless of gender means male or female, right? So we are talking about gender. Okay, we're not talking about male or female. We are talking about gender. That's why, guys, you have seen that in the form. Okay, आज से 10 years, 15 years back, you see that Anna male or female. But now, column, there is a, one column of a gender. Gender word has come because you have come to know that, from this word has come. Anna, we have just discussed that. Human rights are the rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of a gender, nationality, place of residency, sex, ethnicity, religion, color, and other, categorizations. So there are a variety of a human rights. ये human rights हैं, civil rights हैं, political rights हैं, economic rights, social right, cultural right, collective right, gender and human right. The rights of a woman are an inalienable, integral, and indivisible part of the universal human rights at the beginning of the 20th century. So under gender and human right, now we talk about the right of women also. This is, so we will come to know. Okay, so here some of the rights, Hana, we have discussed about some some of the laws now. So here are are discussed same laws and others that make the women weak, right? Under this human rights for women and girls. Okay, we already discussed, right? Okay, so guys, now we discuss about the some of the last year questions. Hana, I have show you the paper. Okay, so we discuss the what the question has come in the paper. So first we discuss the long answer questions, then we'll discuss about the short answer question. So under the long answer questions, the questions came: discuss human development indicators regarding women. Human development indicators regarding women. Okay, so what is basically human development? The term human development may be defined as an expansion of human capabilities, a widening of choices, and enhancement of freedom, and a fulfillment of a human rights. This is called human development, right? There is a one index. The name of index is Human Development Index. Always remember, this is the most important and always question comes, right? Means to measure that whether male or female, okay, they are developed or not. Okay, how you will come to know, how the country would come to know, they are developing. So there is a one index, there is a one a human development index is constructed. So what is the purpose of Human Development Index? This index basically, this index talks about, development of, male or female of any of the country, objectives of a human development. So here it is talking about the human development. We directly go to the HDI index, right? Human Development Index. Human Development Index was created to emphasize that people and their capability should be the ultimate criteria for assessing development of a country, not economic growth alone. Right? So guys, here under this HDI, okay, we understand the HDI because it is most important. Nah? That's why, directly I came here. The Human Development Index is an index that measure key dimensions of human development. Okay, so it is based upon the three key dimensions. What are the three key dimensions? Number one, a long and healthy life. It was measured by life expectancy. Second, whether the male or female getting access of education, right? How it is measured? It is measured by expected years of a schooling of children at school entry stage and many years of a schooling at the adult population. And third is a decent standard of living. So HDI index, Human Development Index, it measures the development of the male or female of any of the country based upon these three things. Okay, these three dimensions: a long and healthy life, access to children, a decent standard of living. Means three things. If they talk about, if they are getting male or female, they are getting these three things. If they are getting a long and healthy life, if they are getting the education, if they are getting a good decent standard of living, then we can say that this country is, there is a human development in that country, right? There is a development is going on. We talk about now America, Canada, they are the developed. India is going towards the developing. India is a developing. So how we measure America is a developed, Canada is a developed, India is developing. So we measure with the help of HDI index, Human Development Index. Okay, it talks about three things: long and healthy life, access to education, decent standard of living. Okay, means if any of the citizen is getting of these three things, he is getting a good standard of living, he is getting a long and healthy life, he is getting access to education, then we can say that this country is developed. Okay. However, Human Development Index focuses on the three measurable dimensions of human development. Okay, this is the point ho gaya hamara, we have discussed. So it is talk about HDI. Okay. Okay, there is a one more index. It is called Gender Related Development Index. Right? What is the need of that? Gender Related Development Index, introduced in Human Development Report 1995. It measures achievements in the same dimension using the same indicator as the HDI, but captures inequalities in achievement between women and men. Yes. Right? So guys, you have to understand HDI, Human Development Index, it is talking about the long and healthy life, right? Access of education. Uske baad, third one is the decent standard of living. But HDI index does not talk about the inequalities between male and female. This is the reason in 1995, Gender Related Development Index introduced. So this index, just see here, this index measure achievement in the same dimension using the same indicators as the HDI, but captures inequalities in achievement between women and men. This is the reason, it can be the one of the reason. Okay, women's are not getting the education, women's are not empowered, after 70 years of independence, because there was not a tool, not any scale that was measure the inequalities. So these conferences held, these tools developed, which measures that where we are lacking, and we are working on that, right? So this is Gender Development Index. Gender Development Index published by UN Development Program measure gender gaps in human development achievements, right? So it is all about the gender development, right? One is gender empowerment measure, GEM. Okay, what is a gender empowerment measure? This is another measure. Just see here, the HDI does not include a measure of participation and aspect of a human development that is central to gender equity. The gender empowerment measure reveals whether women take an active part in economic and political life. Got it? Gender empowerment measures, what talks? It reveals, it is a tool, basically it is an index. You can say that, right? It is a scale. It measures whether women take an active part in economic and political life or not. Okay, it is measured by the gender empowerment measure. Okay, it talks about, and on these we say that, we announce that the country is developed or not developed, underdeveloped, developing, right? So because of that, from that tools, from that index, we measure the human development of any country, right? Dimension of a human development we have discussed, long and healthy life, I just discussed. Education, whether they are getting or not, standard of living. Limitations of a human development index, limitations we have got that, because employment opportunity, equality, it is not measured. That's why gender development index came into existence, and gender empowerment measures came into existence. Okay, one more is indicators of a human development. What are the indicators of a human development? Human development indicators, human development index. India has been a 130th rank in the human development index. Life expectancy, infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, adult literacy ratio, percentage of a population below poverty line. So these are some of the indicators that shows that development of humans, that shows that human development in any of the country, right? Indicators of a human development, right? Okay, so you have to define this. Okay, we discuss under a question 1. Okay, one more questions came last year. Discuss main challenges of women education in India. Okay, so we have discussed already, role of a, so if this questions comes, so under this you have to talk about the role of women education, importance of women education in India, right? This questions kya tha? What was the question? Questions are main challenges of women, main challenges. So here you have to define about the women education, about the India may earlier what was the conditions, now we are working, you can mention the government schemes also, okay, for the upliftment of the women education. But you have to talk about more and more about the challenges. What are the issues, what are the problems that hamper the women to get the education, that make obstacle in the way of a women to get the education? So under this main challenges of women education in India, you have to talk about challenges of women education in India. Negative parental attitude, Anna, you know that. Okay, malab they have the positive attitude towards the son but not for the daughter. Negative attitude towards educating daughters can also be barrier to the girls' education. Inadequate school facilities, Anna, so you have seen that, lack of adequate of the school facilities. There are schools are sometimes in a villages, schools are not near. Shortage of female teachers, gender gaps in university education, gender bias in curriculum. In fact, there is a bias in curriculum. Anna, you have seen that. However, in the study of the Indian textbooks done in this, 1980, you will found that main characters in the majority of lessons. Means you have seen that in the textbook also. You know, main characters जो हैं, मतलब they are men, not women. So there is a, you can say that biased in the curriculum also. In fact, gap in the upper and primary schooling, high dropout rates, interstate variations, quality of education and infrastructure, social factors, health factor, economic factor, patriarchy and social perceptions, son preference, right? Violent against women. So these all the issue and challenges of women education, even issue and challenges of women education in rural areas, economic backwardness, unfavorable social attitude, lack of facilities, lack of women teacher, lack of personal guidance and supervision, inappropriate curriculum, discrimination against women in education, lack of confidence, lack of faith on education, impact of globalization's decision making. So these all the, all points that make obstacle in the way of women to get the education. So you have to mention all these points if the questions comes under the main challenges and issues for the women to get the education. Okay. Problem and issues of women education in India. So same, it is repeating again and again, right? You can mention over there, right? Okay. One more questions came. Discuss the international policies for women empowerment in India. Right? So what you have to do here, under these questions, you have to mention all the schemes which we discussed now. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme, Ladli scheme, Suvidha, Smriti Suvidha scheme. One scheme was the Karnataka, one scheme was the Maharashtra government. Okay. We all have to mention under this. These are the policies, these are the schemes by the nation and state governments. So it is for the empowerment of the women. Now we have to define all these national as well as international policies for women empowerment in India, right? So Paul's this economic empowerment of a woman, how the women can empower economically, right? So you have to mention, and as well as you have to mention that the whatever welfare schemes, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, supporting training, Swadha Udan scheme, we have discussed Ujjwala scheme, right? So you have to mention international policies for empowerment of a woman. These are the international policies for the empowerment of a woman. You have to mention women empowerment policies in India. National policy of women empowerment 2001 kya kehti hai? Right? What it says, national policy of women empowerment. So it talks about all the policies, creating an environment through positive economic and social policies for the full development of women, enable them to realize their full potential, equal access for women to health service, professional, childcare at all stages, job, technical, house, fair, compensation, workplace, health and safety, social security in public office. Okay, the national policy of education 1986, what talks about women empowerment? It talks about easy connectivity registration, universal retentions of children up to the age of 14. National policy of 1993, what it talks about women empowerment. You have to mention national health policy, you have to mention National Environment Day, right? 2006, what it says, national policy for women 2016. So you have to talk about all the policies, national as well as international policies for the upliftment of the women educations, right? Next, that was 10 questions. 10 questions came, short answer questions. Okay, last year paper. So these were the 10 questions. Number 1, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme for girl child, CBSE Udan scheme, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, we have discussed, no need to discuss. Okay, means in today's lecture we have discussed the whole syllabus as well as we have discussed the many questions from the last year paper. Okay, almost short questions so we all have discussed. Okay, long questions we have discussed 3 or 4 questions, right? So short answer questions, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme for girl child we have discussed. Number 2, CBSE Udan scheme, we are aware. Gender disability, okay, gender disability we discuss here. Okay, gender related human rights we discussed. Gender Development Index. Okay, I have discussed the Gender Development Index. Okay, you have to mention gender laws regarding women in India. वो सारे laws, which we discussed. Programs for women education in India. All the programs, welfare schemes, programs you have to mention. 7th thing. Under 8th, national schemes of incentive to girls for secondary education. National schemes you have to elaborate. Define women empowerment. Okay, we have already discussed. Social status of a girl child, we discussed here. Right? So 2 points were not discussed. One is gender disability, number 3rd, and social status of girl child. So what is a gender disability? So first of all, you have to understand disability. Disability is a state or a condition of a mind or a body that affects an individual functioning and interfere their ability to participate in the activity in the day-to-day life. For example, person becomes handicapped, deaf, dumb. There is a disability now. Okay, but you have to understand there is both a medical as well as a social dimension to the issue of a disability. Right? Because if he is not listening, so what will happen? Even it becomes the social dimensions to the issue of a disability for that person's. Even disability can affect the person's anytime in lifespan as a healthcare improves and person's life longer. Right, guys? So disability and gender. Here we have to talk about, disability and gender. The plight of women with disabilities, as earlier mentioned, is far worse than that of men, as they suffer on account of being a women in male-dominated society. Means, what is the meaning of that? Gender disability. Men can be disabled and female can be disabled, but under the gender disability you have to mention this is a male dominated society, and if the women get disabled, so the conditions of women get worse than a man. You have to mention under the disability and gender, या gender disability, right? The gender experience of a disability. Okay, you have to mention. This is a short questions. Okay, one is a social status of a girl child. 10th questions. So social status of a girl child, you know that in India, we have discussed many of the points. Negative attitude towards the girl. Okay, parents are not motivated, encourage. They don't encourage the girl to go to the school or college to get the education. So social status of a girl child we have to mention. All things we have discussed, guys. So that was the last question we discussed. So in today's lecture, we discussed the whole syllabus as well as the last year papers. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.